Hi, folks. Dr. Jim Gishwin here, and my new hat, Tuskegee Airman. Remember to give faithfully to the Confederate Air Force. Also, please give to the Confederate Navy, the ones that are sitting there doing the waterborne rescues out in Texas in the flooding, and that have done so in the past also. And Tunnels to Towers, of course, who I fervently back. Now, talking about the flooding in Texas, let me tell you this one thing. I'm hearing this. This is disgusting to sit there and pull politics on such a disaster. FEMA was there. And the reason I know that, I was there. Okay? They had 700 people on the ground almost immediately. Okay? Sitting there helping people out and also helping the state of Texas. Part of the whole thing with the dismantling of part of FEMA, or a good part of FEMA, was that they would give the money to the states to sit there and have in their local emergency funds. Okay? It was not to sit there and save us money. It was because why should we do it when states have their own emergency management centers too? And FEMA does do the training. I'm a FEMA trained manager also. Now, there was also 7,000 volunteers out there. Now, you can say what you want about the about Salvation Army or what's that one, Scientology. When we had our major hurricanes down here, guess who was passing out water right next to Lowe's? Scientology people. Okay? And did they sit there and harass you about what they believed and that they wanted you to believe it to get the water? No, they didn't. Not one bit. Not a word came out of their mouths. They just sat there and passed out water. Let's talk about something else now. All right? This is an extreme tragedy out there in Texas. I was there. I survived it. We got there 4th of July. Anyway, understand this. The only people that we have shortages for in any departments in our government are those that took the early bailout when it was offered to them, or who never came back into work. That's it. You didn't come into work, you were gone. And they knew that. All right? So, it's not the things that Trump did. He didn't sit there and fire them. He just said, if you want to work, you got to come into work. That was it. This is the common sense approach. And that's all we've done is the common sense approach. I'm proud to be a member of the party of common sense, also constitutionalism. You want to talk about unconstitutionalism, you talk about the left and they're advocating violence. We're coming out the year anniversary of the Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt. And speaking of that, we need to sit there and get some facts on this. Whatever they're saying, they don't have a motive yet. The guy wrote about, he was a leftist and he wrote so much anti-Trump stuff. And he wrote that he was a Nazi. You sit there and leftist politicians, you call someone a leftist, you call someone a Nazi long enough, you got wackos out there, they're going to believe it and think they're going to do the world a good favor by taking someone out. But you've accused them of being a Nazi. And we got politicians now that are actually sitting there advocating blood in the streets. They have actually said the word. This is the real uprising. And I've seen those demonstrations out there in California. I saw that picture of that one guy turning around firing shots at the ICE agents on the marijuana farm. Okay? This is a rebellion. This is an insurrection. Not what 6th January was. There was no weapons there. And the only person that got killed on 6th January, okay, was Ashley Babbitt, unarmed Air Force reservist. And there needs to be some accountability there. Right. Okay, the left is the, what I'm going to call them the Democratic progressives. Not regular Democrats. I don't think regular Democrats agree with this stuff at all. That's why they're bailing out on the Democratic Party. You got more and more of them, just coming to the Republican Party or becoming independents. They do not want the Democratic Party. They don't want what it's feeding them. It's being controlled by the AOC far radical wing. And more and more of them sit there and say, this is not for me. I mean, AOC, for God's sake, I don't think she well, she may have passed her bartending class, but she sure didn't. I don't think she got a very good high school diploma there. I don't know what they were teaching up there in New York. All right. I saw the photo of the demonstrator firing the gun at the ICE agents. And politicians, and it's because of Trump derangement system. Look, I visited my mother. She still got it. She still got it. I sat there and made one mention, the only political mention I made. I said, Trump gives away his salary to all these veterans organizations. He said he doesn't take a salary. Or he offered not to take a salary like Kennedy did. Okay, Kennedy was the last one not to do that. I guess OPM or someone sat there, he had to take at least $1 or a couple dollars or something like that. But he said instead he'll sit there and just donate all his salary to veterans organizations. Speaking of that, my memorial statue is on the ship. It's on the ship. It should be here next month. And to the port of Miami on the 20th of August, I'm told. And that assassin from a year ago, he was convinced that Trump was Hitler, or Trump was a Nazi. It was in his writings. Where did you get off saying that you don't know what the guy's motive was? Who did this stupid, silly-ass investigation? And why are we just now sitting there seeing people suspended for a month? Is that enough? That ain't enough. No, Cash Patel and Bongino turning over, well, they don't have graves yet, but if they were, they'd be turning over in the graves. That's ridiculous. I can't not believe Bongino and Cash Patel are going for this crap. Okay? I cannot believe it. And I think that's where some of the dispute with with Pam Bondi's going on. I wish they would sit there and cut it out. That's a good team, and I don't know what's going on with Pam Bondi suddenly. She's having this problem with the Epstein files. She's having problems with releasing other things that she's promised to release and that Trump wants released. And that Trump sits there and says he still has faith in whatever in her. Something's not kosher here. I mean, talk about Trump derangement. The people in the progressive left do not like you. They do not like America. They do not like Americans. They do not like patriotism. They do not like God. Remember, in the Democratic National Convention, the other, 2 cycles ago, they refused, when they were saying the Pledge of Allegiance, they deliberately left out the word God. That is insane. How can you guys sit there and not realize how disgusting they have become? They're defending the worst of the worst, and yet here's a man who's patriotic, who loves his country, and is trying to do everything to make America great again. And there's nothing wrong with Make America Great Again. Clinton used it in his campaign, okay? God. Let's leave it in a little humor. I got to remember, going through Houston, they had all these billboards up for, are emergency rooms that desperate for people to come to them? I'm serious. This one billboard sat there and said, hey, we give you a free pair of sticky socks with an overnight stay. Oh, Lordy. And you can't make some of this stuff up. I mean, it's funnier than the old Burma shave signs. But, you know, my mom sat there and said, well, Trump, I was trying to sit there and finish my sentence. You know how us old people are. Anyway, oh, my Lord. The little girl, the little doggy is in here, and she just cut one. Oh, Lord. Well, anyway, I sat there and said he gives away his salary to veterans groups, and she goes, oh, he's sitting there getting his fortune in other ways. He already had a fortune. He didn't need to do this, honey, Mom. He didn't need to do this at all. He could have sat there and spent the rest of his life on the golf course. Okay? And then there's Trump mansions and whatnot, living the good life. In fact, the White House is a step down, luxury-wise, compared to where he was living. Anyway. And he is a good golfer, I'm told. He's a scratch golfer. Anyway. Folks, this Trump derangement syndrome, I mean, this is leading us to civil war. It's going to lead to another assassination attempt, or it's going to lead to ICE officers getting killed and their families getting killed. This is terrible. This has to cease. You know, there's a lot of things I'd like to reimagine. When you sit there and say reimagine, let's reimagine police funding and stuff like that. I can reimagine a great America. I can reimagine on our 250th birthday, knowing that most great countries and great powers only lasted that long for about 300 years. That we're close to the tail end. And if it wasn't for Trump, we'd be pretty well down in the pits. So he has come by and he has saved us. And I think God is using him. Anyway, I'm going to sit there and let you go, folks. Just remember this. Pray for the victims in Texas. Pray for all our departed friends and family. Pray for all of our first responders. Pray for our military. And remember that God loves you, I love you, and I remain your very humble servant. Take care now.